Not sure of your role as a lead in lawn bowls? Well, let's have a look at what we can do to make you be better as a lead. So let's get cracking. Hi, I'm Matt Clark, Bowls Australia accredited club coach. Now in this video we're going to be looking at the role of a lead, what you need to do and some of the drills to help you along the way. Now generally when you start playing bowls, people will put you into the role of lead. Now it's a time-honoured tradition in bowls and is a great way to learn. The old school way of looking at playing lead is that it's basically a way to earn your stripes. Now they used to say you would have to play lead for about 5 to 10 years before you'd advance. Now I don't believe in that old school philosophy because it is just that, old school. Now I'm a big believer that newer bowlers should really be playing second, but that's a debate for another time. Now playing lead is probably the most important position next to the skips, I believe anyway. If you can get your side off to a good start, it's a massive advantage to the team objectives of winning that end. Now, this doesn't just include 4-player pennant. The rule applies for pairs, triples, and fours. So you can even take some of those tips and use them in your singles games. Now, last but not least, be a good teammate as a lead. Don't play your bowls, then go and sit in the shed. Pick up the bowls for the seconds. Encourage your teammates, be part of the group. Sitting in the shed after your bowls doesn't allow you to do any of that. Now at some levels, the lead will actually follow their bowls down, go and stand next to the skip and learn to read the head or just help out. So remember one thing, just be a good teammate. Now, let's get on to the nitty-gritty of lead play. Hi guys, just to let you know that this video is sponsored by my great sponsor, Hooded Life. Owned and operated in Australia by ex-Australian player and ex-Victorian player Todd Simmons. He sure knows what he's doing. Everything from bowls gear, which includes hoodies, zip-up jackets, shirts, shorts, caps, and of course, rags just like this. Todd has everything you need. He also does sports gear and workwear gear, such as this, t-shirts, caps, beanies, the whole lot. So visit Todd and Hooded Life on www.hoodedlife.com.au. Now, firstly, there's 2 jobs in playing lead. The jack rolling, then your bowls. So we're going to look at the jack rolling first. Now, I've seen many people deliver a jack like this. They just sort of throw it down and off they go to get their bowls. Now, obviously, those people don't care about where the jack ends up. Generally, the skip will give you an idea of where to put the jack. Now, they'll generally put their foot down and ask you to bowl directly to it. Again, very old school way of thinking, but still very prevalent today, so unfortunately you'll have to put up with it. Now the idea is to roll the jack like you would a bowl, so a smooth delivery action and roll. The idea is to get near the required target. So that's job number 1 done. Next, we'll look at the bowling side of things. Now, many leads will put themselves under huge pressure to get the bowls right next to the jack. Now get that idea, throw it in the bin right now. You're putting yourself under way too much pressure. You should be bowling to a zone area. So if we look at this example, I've set up some tennis balls around the jack, 1 metre away and 1 metre in front. This is your target area. Get your bowls anywhere in this area and it's a huge bonus for your team. Now, if you're a new bowler, make it 1.5 metres behind, 1 metre in front. As you get better, shorten those distances up. Now, if you end up putting your bowl 2 or 3 metres behind, that's great. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever because the jack only moves one way and that's backwards 99.9% of the time. The idea is to try and not bowl short of the jack. Again, if you do it, move on, we all do it. Now, one thing I took from Karen Murphy's coaching sessions a couple of years back is try and attack the jack with your first bowl. There's a couple of things that can happen here. So we'll look at some examples. On our first bowl is actually attack the jack. So we're going for the jack, and what we're trying to do is hit it over in this direction. Now, there's two thought processes to this theory. First of all, as I just did then, if we attack the jack and move the jack backwards, you'll see we're sitting on the jack itself. Now, if we actually miss the jack and go past it or around it, what will happen if your bowl ends up there, that sets up your team in a great position. So if the jack actually does move, your bowl's sitting there waiting for it. What also happens, if you go slightly wide and slightly heavy, you end up around the line just behind the jack. Again, good. If you end up short on trying to attack the jack, what will happen, if you end up short, you're going to be in this area here. Again, we're in that zone, or we're going to be bang on it, and that's your actual short bowl because you're half a metre short than what you want it to be. So again, try and attack the jack on your first bowl and you'll set yourself and the team up. So that's primarily the role of a lead. Now let's look at some drills that we can do for practice. Now the first drill is what I call the roll and follow drill. Now I do this every time I step onto the green for training, every time. Now pretty simple, what we do is we roll the jack, then before it finishes we put our bowl down. Then step off the mat, grab our second bowl and do it again. Now the best way to do this, if you can, is to roll a long end and put down your two bowls, and then roll a short end and another two bowls. So for this you need two jacks and your full set of 4 bowls. Let's get to it and give it a go. So what I like to do for this drill is have my bowl in my left hand, roll the jack with my right, and then I'll pretty much be ready to go. So what we do is we roll the jack. It's going to be slightly off center, and then before it even thinks about finishing, we roll our bowl. Now the idea is to have your bowl finish up somewhere near the jack, which this is going to do. And then what we do is we line up our second bowl, and we're doing the same with this one. Again, same weight. I think that one's going to be a little bit heavier, but same weight. So what we're trying to do is get some correlation between the jack weight and the bowl weight. So there we go. That's the roll and follow drill. The second drill is a bit of a jack roll drill. Now, the main areas we want to concentrate on are minimum length and maximum length. Now for minimum length, what we're going to do is we're going to take the mat right up to the minimum line, bring it back 2 meters, and we're going to try and get the jack basically to the tee. Now, what we're going to do is throw down 2 jacks, or you could throw down 2 or 3, depending on the availability. Now, this is a great one for your pre-practice ritual. After you've done a couple of short ends, do a couple of maximum ends. Then you'll have an idea of the speed of the green, and you'll be able to know pretty much what's in between. All right, so let's get to that drill. Right, so what we're going to do with the jack rolling drill, now all I'm going to show you is minimum length, because maximum length you're more than knowledgeable to be able to work that out for yourself. So what we're going to do, we've got our mat, we're going to walk up to the 21 metre mark, which will be on every green, so you'll know the minimum length. What we do is take 2 big steps back, put our mat down. Now, by taking 2 meters back off the minimum line, it actually gives you 4 meters at the other end to get it right. Now, why is that, you ask? Well, you've got 2 meters of space between the tee and the ditch itself, and you've also got 2 meters short of the tee. Total distance 4 meters. So again, you're not putting yourself under that much stress to get it right. You've got 4 meters of clearance to play with. So it's as simple as roll the jack, and we should get close to the tee here, which I have. Righto, and we roll another jack, and we should get pretty close with that one as well. So again, practice that for a couple of ends, especially during your warm-ups prior to a game. If you get, so for pennant, you get a few ends practice, or you get half hour, 3/4 an hour practice, depending on what the rules are for you guys. But again, do 2 ends of minimum length, 2 ends of maximum length, and then you've got 10 metres of room, 15 metres of room to play with in between. All right, that's that drill. Now the last drill I have for you today is the zone drill. So I showed you previously how to set up the zone. So what we do is we grab a heap of tennis balls, or cones, or you can even use old bowls. Now, as mentioned, try and attack the jack with your first bowl. You know the line of the straight draw. You've practiced it enough. So now bring it in a touch and go after it. But go after it and still finish in the zone. Then your other 3 bowls should be in that zone. So let's have a look at that one and see how best to try this. Okay, so this drill is one of the drills that you should practice on a regular occasion. Again, what we're doing is setting up a zone around the jack, and what we're trying to do is keep our bowls within that zone. So we'll go up the other end, we'll set up the zone, and we'll go from there. Right, so as you can see, what I've done is I've set up the zone behind the jack. So within that, what we're trying to do is bowl within that zone. Now the cones are back about 3/4 of a metre. I've got 2 of the tennis balls up the front, probably half a metre, 600 mil from the front. Then I've got those at the back. So what we're trying to do is get our bowl within this zone. Let's have a go. All right, so we're down this end. What we're trying to do, as we said, try and get a bowl or 2 bowls in that zone. So let's give that a go here. Now I might be a little short, but not that short. No, here it goes. Righto, so the first bowl counts. All right, let's see if we can do a second bowl on the backhand. I've skinnied that one up a touch. Let's see where it finishes. So we've got 2 bowls within the zone. So that's 2 ticks. That's pretty much what you're looking for. If you can get, as a beginner, if you're starting out, or the first, second year bowler, what you're trying to do, if you can get 2 bowls in that zone, great. Using 4 bowls, what we're trying to do is get 4 bowls within that zone. But again, set your standards correctly for the level that you're playing at. So that's it. Hopefully that helps you understand your role when playing a lead. The most important thing is, don't put yourself under pressure to nail the jack every time. At the end of the day, who can? Right? If you're in the zone or behind the jack, consider that a huge tick. If you put down 1 short, don't worry about it. We all do it. Don't fret on it. So that's it for today. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding of being a lead and your role in it, and some drills that you can try and be better. Until next time, bye for now.